Okay. We got quite the feedback this
A little
week.
bit of activity out there.
Wowzers, my friends. Y'all came strong. Let's see. Chris, I was going to share with you a couple of reviews here.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Excited for the podcast. The humor and pop culture references kept me engaged. Let's see. Great stuff. I can use this for practical encouragement. That's great. One in particular says, it's from a Lauren Ann. My husband is not quite there, but I'm excited
Oh,
for him to listen to this podcast.
and
So
two, Lauren? Ouch.
hard to know how to take that. That's encouraging and also ouchy on the husband. So whoever you are out there, might want to pay attention, fella. So and then I've heard great feedback. We also got someone who called in to leave a message. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
No, tell me more about that.
someone sent us a clip, so we're gonna play that clip. So check this out.
Michael and Chris, this is Morgan. I heard you got the podcast launched. Excellent. I want to wish you the best. I hope you reach many men who are looking to take that step forward. Because we all know, even me in my career, I know I'm not quite there.
Ooh, you know what I love about that?
Wow, what's that?
I
I was not
love,
expecting that.
yeah, I love that, he would take the time to reach out,
I
given
Morgan,
his busy
yeah,
schedule.
we thank you, Morgan Freeman. Everyone, I did not see that this early in the podcast. We salute you, Morgan, and your documentaries on penguins was top notch indeed, my friend.
And call anytime, too.
Yes, please call back. We do want to hear from you. The I think other hot take we got was the Die Hard debate that we're not going to go into again because this is not a Die Hard podcast. But Chris, it did. Can I call you Chris? It did make me think of other ridiculous debates out there. So here we go, putting you on the hot seat. Hot takes with Chris. Ready for this?
I'm ready. Send it my way.
Should toilet paper be hung over or under?
Over, because under can invite spiders and other things to dwell.
That's good. Okay, here we go. That was a fast answer. Is a tomato a fruit or a vegetable?
Definitely a fruit that tastes like a vegetable.
Should you put ketchup on a hot dog?
Yes, all the time.
Okay. Oh, all the time. Wow.
All
Even
the
if
time.
it's terrible. Like you're like,
It
okay.
makes it better. Yeah.
Okay. Last one. Should you wash dishes before putting them in the dishwasher?
You should give them a light rinse.
A light rinse. Oh, you know what this
I've
actually
I've been told that you should give them a light rinse.
You've got you've gotten that feedback before. So
I've gotten that feedback, maybe more than once.
it makes me think, are you a clean as you go while you're cooking? So Joelle and I clean as I'm cooking because I want to eat and then be done and everything's finished. She is the opposite. She wants to cook. If dishes are everywhere, that's great. And we'll just clean it up afterwards. We have two completely different mindsets on this. So are you a clean as you go or clean later kind of a guy?
I would like to say clean as I go, because when I waited tables back in the day, you were taught pre-bussing and kind of getting the table clean as you went along, but that's just not the case at home. And a lot of it's probably just because I'm hungry and I just want to get to eating and then, deal with that later.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a debatable topic. I mean, you're wrong on your take, but I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
Well,
Everyone
yeah.
can do their own. I mean,
We're not going to agree on everything, Mike.
Yeah, I hear sloppy and lazy, but it's fine. It's fine, man. Have dishes all over your kitchen. Don't serve your wife. It's good.
But
It's fine.
we'll be okay.
I think judgmental is a little strong, but that's okay. That's okay. All right. So speaking of judgmental, probably no good segue there. What are we talking about today?
I don't know. I heard some comments about my voice.
Oh,
First of all, and that's always fun.
right.
So
I forgot that was the number one hate thread. was
well,
your
I
low
don't want to skirt around it. We might as well tackle it head on. But what were some of the comments there, Mike? If you can fill me
let's
in.
see. Comment. Low Chris voice. Chris, speak up. Chris, stop talking so low. Chris, you're whispering. I'm going to fall asleep. and the number one crowd favorite. Chris has a sexy voice.
Oh man, tell me more about that.
Well, I don't have much more to say besides it's not my feedback. It's just what we hear from the masses, and in particular, apparently you have a Barry White-esque voice, my friend. So congratulations. Can you do Barry White?
Yeah, what would Barry say? What's something that he would?
Or just welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast.
Is that's what
Is that a little too? That sounded kind of like Morgan, didn't it?
I did sound a little bit. I was actually thinking that was kind of like
What about,
Morgan.
I've been around the world and I can't find my baby. I don't know where, I don't know why. But she's gone away
I
and
feel
I
like
don't
Barry
know the
White
rest
is
of the
a
words.
country singer
Well,
at this point, and slight Elvis. It's like a little bit of
yeah, it's just so Michael, you know, and you with your
Thank you for saying
many
Michael.
years of being in men's ministry, you know that when there is a men's small group or life group, like we are going to call them,
Mhm.
it usually takes one guy to jump in, dive in, and say, you know what, this is me. I'm going to be vulnerable here. I'm going to be authentic. I'm just going to tell you how it is. And they go to that place where it invites the other guys in the group to
Mhm.
also share in like kind there. So that's you today, Mike. You get to be on the hot seat. You get to
I'm on
dive
the hot
in.
seat. I get to lead with vulnerability, deepest, darkest
You do.
secrets, all that. Is that what you're saying?
Congratulations.
That's great. Let's
it's on
do
you today.
this. Let's just expose everything to the universe.
I know that you're walking around saying, I just can't wait to be vulnerable. So let's.
What man doesn't love to just share everything?
Yeah. And then, it's not going to be like taking a little toothbrush and, brushing a little fossil here and there and see what this is going to be. Take a jackhammer and, try to dig it on out of there and, hopefully not break anything. So
Jackhammer it up.
yeah.
Have you done a lot of fossils with mini toothbrushes, by the way?
I've done no fossils. I've seen it done. Don't want to really do it, but
okay. Paleontology is not for you. That's just for Ross.
I do want to excavate around the issue of Mike here. I say let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's find out who is this Mike Mobley.
Okay, nitty gritty, excavate. Let's excavate it up.
Yeah, well, a lot of things start in childhood. So why don't we go there and see what was it like for little Mike growing up, and kind of take me up until that time where you saw something was missing in life.
Okay, childhood. Here we go. So I grew up family of four. So I have one older brother. He's a few years older than me. I'm taller than him, so we just need to get that out there. It's clearly not an insecurity or a vulnerability. Just want to say that. But one older brother is family of four growing up. We grew up in North Richland Hills. So shout out to all of you NRH fans out there. There might be one of you listening for the rest of the time. And we would have said we grew up in a Catholic home. But when someone says Catholic or Christian, I mean, frankly, any label these days, you have to ask them what in the world they mean by that, because you just can't assume anything anymore. So for us, what that meant was we went to mass every now and then, and pretty much never, like 3 or 4 times a year. And you certainly have to go for Christmas Eve and for Easter. That's like a non-negotiable. And so religion, God, anything spiritual, all that jazz for me as a kid and growing up, that was like a foreign. God is like up there. There probably is a God that makes sense, but there's like rules and regulations and phrases, and you kneel and you stand. There's a lot of squatting, a lot of like physical exercise happening. Yeah, good core. I had a really good core as a child, and reading the Bible, that was actually I don't know, almost sometimes even looked down on. It was like you listen to what you're told, and reading it was like foreign to me. So any of that growing up, that wasn't existent really in our family. It was playing outside from sun up to sundown, playing baseball, doing school, um, acting, performing, just I don't know, just kind of being a kid and doing all that. That was up until the time my parents got divorced. So when I was about 10 or 11, um, parents got divorced. That kind of changed everything from family of four in NRH to me, my brother, and my dad living together in different apartments all around HEB. And those are not apartments all around a grocery store. We didn't just live only where HEB, the grocery store, was. That's Hurst, Euless, Bedford, in Texas. That's the original HEB. Um, so it was family of four to three guys, kind of like three guy roommates, tubs of meat everywhere, sports posters up on the wall, no emotional development. I learned that later after getting married. I learned that the hard way. So like three guys living together. And so it was kind of like go to school, work hard. I started driving and working when I was 15. I just been working full time ever since, kind of paying bills, all that stuff. And that was kind of it. Um, I just wanted to have friends and just have a good time and work hard and play hard. I didn't really even get back into the church world at all until started having a girl or two invite me to church. So that was going into middle school and high school. So naturally, of course, I was like, I love church. Like I grew up in the Catholic Church. I'm like full Catholic. Hello. So who wouldn't say that if you're interested in a girl? Obviously you have to, otherwise you don't have a chance. So that kind of got me back into church for a brief amount of time.
Okay, so the girl got you to church, but
Yep.
what took you from there?
So a girl got me to church, and like you said, I was in a youth group, found some friends there, but I was really just kind of there for the girls and maybe some pizza. And um, I don't know, some of the stuff sounded good, but honestly, a couple years into that and different girls in and out of there, I just left. It didn't grab hold of me. It was nothing about God or Jesus for me. So I couldn't tell you I really learned anything. And I'm sure at the time I was taught things, but I just wasn't interested, wasn't paying attention. It was really selfish. So left that. And then like I said, I was always working full time. I kept doing that. And I always wanted to act. And so by this time, I've had multiple full-time jobs. Getting out of high school, I'm getting a little bit of college under my feet, just some basic classes. And I just kind of hit me, if I'm ever going to act, I have to go to California, have to move and just at
That
least
guy
give.
that actually goes to California
Yeah,
and
yeah.
decides to.
The classic cliche. I'm going to move to LA and I'm going to go be an actor because no one's ever thought about that before. That's a brand new concept for everyone. So I was that guy. Of course, blonde hair, blue eye guy going. It's really sounds so cheesy saying it now. So, but I went and started acting. Really hustled for the first year and got into the Screen Actors Guild. That's when you get this infamous SAG card. That's what they call it in the
I've heard of that
biz.
card. Yeah.
That's very fancy SAG card. But that allows you to do, let's just say, real auditions and go do real acting jobs. A lot of them you can't do unless you're inside the Screen Actors Guild. So I was
And it's actually a
blessed.
card that you have to show.
It's an actual card with a
Okay.
membership number. It's a real thing. Think like backstage pass on Wayne's World, walking around, be like, "Hey, like look at this, get the SAG
Like
card."
Fonzie. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yes. Hey.
Okay. Yeah.
You can tell by the acting classes right there how good that impression was.
Hey,
Just, hey, that's all you have to do. That's actually that's like a $400 acting class right there. You just say
like
that
Fonzie
phrase.
does the alphabet. A, B,
So
C. Right.
got
Go.
out there. I was blessed to get into the guild really early from what I've learned about the entertainment industry and started acting. And as I'm doing that, I had a bunch of odd jobs in LA too, just helps make ends meet. Met a girl, of course. What a shocker. It's another girl. And she invited me to go to church. And so I was like, I've done this before. I'll just do it again, just while I'm acting. So I went to a church. It was called Cornerstone Church in Simi Valley. And Francis Chan was the pastor at the time. He's just a popular speaker now and leader and still pastoring, but just not necessarily like not Cornerstone anymore. And I sat there for 6 weeks, and all I can tell you is that I heard the gospel. I'm sure I heard it before, but it was like I heard it in a way that it was like Francis was talking directly to me.
Hmm.
And I just don't know how to describe it other than it was like the words he was saying were like custom made for my brain to understand. And it was hitting me like, oh, Jesus. Oh, the guy on the crucifix. Like, I didn't pay much attention to him. Like, this was real. Like, he was real. He really did live here and die on the cross. And there was something that happened there when he died on the cross. Like, my sins really have been forgiven. And I'm in my low 20s by this point. So I can imagine a lot of the sins I've committed. And there are a lot. There's a lot of partying and drugs and alcohol in the past too, and just to be with friends, just to be with community, that was the draw to get into that scene. And this guy Jesus really did also rise from the grave, and it was 6 weeks, 6 weeks, and then it was like I'm in. How could I not be into this? Like, I not only do I believe Jesus in you, but like I'm like hands up, like I can't do this. I haven't been able to do this for 20 years, and I'm just chasing all these different paths. And some of them were great experiences, but they weren't it, which is why I was chasing so many different ones. So I was all in, decided to follow Jesus, got baptized a couple weeks later. Um, and honestly, what's funny is sometimes you hear stories of people coming to Jesus, and it almost sounds like their life just like magically got better, like perfect overnight. And sometimes when you hear those stories, it's hard to relate because you're like, oh, cool. Like that's really great for you. That wasn't my experience.
Right.
I felt like I had hell on earth the first year or two after after following him. And everyone's story is different. But for me, it was just I knew I was a believer and I knew I was saved, but there were so many things to change in my life. And I didn't have someone with me discipling me. And all
Right.
I mean by that is I just didn't have someone walking with me to teach me, okay, hey, so here's how to follow Jesus. Certain things are sin, certain things are not sin. Like it was more me stumbling around, like, okay, I can do this life. Oh, wait, I can't do life exactly the same. I'm not really in charge anymore. Like it was just like a trial and error thing. The girl who invited me to church, I knew the Lord told me acting wasn't going to be in my future anymore. I had a peace about it. It was kind of a supernatural thing where imagine a guy hustling for 3 years in LA, and then overnight you're like, I'm good moving on. And I was working in LA, like I was a working actor. You
So
don't
things
do
were
that.
actually coming together there for you.
Yeah, yeah. And where you have your manager and you have your family, like you are crazy if you leave. And it was like, I know my heart's not in it. And God's told me I'm not gonna have a future with that. But a confusing time, right? So I have that kind of confidence and peace from the Lord, and I know it's from him. And then this girl who invited me to church, we assume we're gonna get married. And we move across the country. In our infinite wisdom, we pick a spot on the map. We move to Nashville for a year, and we pick a two-bedroom apartment. And we think we're going to live together, but we're not going to have the same bedroom, but we're going to live together and kind of like, you know, take the next step, so to speak, kind of like test the waters before you get married. And looking back, so many things wrong with that. If we have to test the waters, that's not the best foundation to start a future marriage on. And then we can talk about, living together and all that stuff probably in the future. That's probably a whole episode in of itself, but learned through that year what was wrong about it, and then learn what conviction was. And it was just, I'm confused on what's going on, and had a couple friends from Texas help me. And ended up after a year, us breaking up and me coming back to Texas. So it was a really confusing first out of the gate steps on what does it even mean to follow Jesus in the first place?
Right. So you go to LA. You do end up coming to a relationship with Jesus. And unfortunately, as you move to Nashville, one relationship, you know, it doesn't work out. You find that out the hard way. You're back in Texas. What happens from there? Where are you at with God after the broken relationship there?
Yep. And so we come back to Texas. I come back on a Saturday, and the next day is Sunday, and I had a friend invite me to it was 121 Community Church in Grapevine, and they just invite me to church. And I'm like, okay, cool. I just got back here. Why not? Like, I should plug into a church. And I just came through a year of Nashville, not really plugged into a church. So I think I was hungry for that. And we showed up, and I immediately judged it from the outside. It's hard to visit churches, and I literally told my friend if we walk in and there's like 10 folding chairs and like two people in here, I'm literally just gonna turn around and walk out. I don't even care if it's rude. Like I can't handle that. And I walked in and I was shocked. It didn't look anything on the inside like it did on the outside. But what I loved, I was there for probably 3 minutes and it felt just like Cornerstone. Like the people, the atmosphere, the culture. It's just very much hey, we're going to wear jeans or shorts and a t-shirt and we're not all put together. We're not perfect. Like we're messed up people moving forward. We're going to be real with each other and we're genuinely trying to follow Jesus at the same time. And that just resonates with me very much because I don't know, I have this thing on being fake, especially in the Christian world. And like, I can't stand that. I would rather just be honest and, and as vulnerable as possible because I feel like we have nothing to lose and everything to gain when we do that. So, got plugged into 121, joined a small group that same day, that afternoon actually, and stayed for years. In fact, I felt a call to what I now know was a call to ministry, but I felt a call. I just felt like the Lord told me acting wasn't going to be there. It was like the Lord said, "Hey, you're going to work here," and I honestly laughed that off because it was like, okay, I'm sure I'm going to go work for a church that sounds cool. Like I doubt that's going to happen. And then over the years, learned since basically 2009, that was a call into ministry, and things just kind of progressed from there.
Yeah, and they progressed to another city that's on a lot of people's wish list because you went to LA, you went to Nashville. Those are certainly places people try to get to and make a career. But now you head to Austin. And what was waiting for you in Austin? What happens there?
Yep. So we were in DFW at 121 from 2009 to the end of 2017. So met my wife at 121 and we were married there and had our kids, here in DFW as well. We have an 11-year-old daughter, Peyton, and 9-year-old son, Matthew, and my wife, Joelle. Been married for 14, about to be 14 years this year. And that's just what an amazing. We're gonna have to do a whole. You and I are gonna have to do a whole episode on our families. So we're just
I
gonna
think so.
we're gonna leave it at that. So waterworks don't start happening, but I just feel very blessed and thankful. So okay, we're moving forward here. Um, so here I had multiple roles on staff at 121. They kind of evolved 7 or 8 different times. Administrative roles, financial roles, running communications, helping with life groups, helping with facilities, helping with planning and operations, future work, things like that. Those were all different roles I had. And I now know is because God was equipping me for, let's call it executive pastor kind of work. So executive pastor, just think of that in the corporate world as maybe a COO. So it's just a guy, many hats. You have your hands in many different things. You're running different things. You're just wired for that. Some people are wired for one like sector or one ministry area, and some people are wired for, the whole gamut. So I did all that prep for then helping plant a church in Austin called Austin Life Church at the end of 2017, kind of mid 2017, and for 5 years after that, living in Austin and helping plant a church there. It's still going strong, still going great. Corey Johnson's the lead pastor there, is doing awesome. And we learned when we landed in Austin, Austin and LA are very, very similar. And what I mean by that is, obviously, one's the coast and one is Texas. Some differences there, but the people are very, very similar. They're friendly on the outside. They've all moved to these destination cities, and they're typically chasing a dream. They're starting side hustles, businesses, chasing dreams. They're doing something. But sometimes also they're escaping. And if you basically go beyond pleasantries, besides like, hey, how are you? If you're more like, so, what are you here? What are you here for? And um, what kind of family do you have? And like, you just start peeling back the onion with people. You find out really fast they either just really shut you off really quickly, or they'll open up. But I think it prepared me. I think looking back, it was the Lord preparing me to be able to minister to people in Austin.
Yeah, I love how he prepared you for that. Just being able to experience that for yourself, and then give you that empathy for those who are also, seeking that out for themselves too. I know that was
Mhm.
part of just your interactions with people down there. So, what leads you back here to the Dallas Fort Worth area after that?
Yep. So we were there for a handful of years, and we um we felt the Lord spurring us on like it sounds weird saying it like this, but almost just kind of like assignment complete, like a time to, it wasn't really even come back to DFW. It just felt like the next step was to go to DFW again. We had family members here and things like that. And parents, both my parents have passed away over the
Yeah.
last couple of years, about a year apart from each other. And some of it might have been that and the timing of their health and things like that. I mean, I couldn't tell you exactly why. It was just imagine similar to acting, you're planting for 5 years, and that's like a startup mentality. That's exhausting and exhilarating and amazing and terrible and every emotion you can think, to get to a point to go, oh, we're supposed to move to the next thing and have a peace about that when we thought we might be there forever. There's something to be said there about okay, I think the Lord actually might be doing this. And we get here, and my dad passes away about 2 weeks after we moved back. And so the timing, we're supposed to be back here. Like we can see that. So we came back, and we had no idea what was going to happen. Didn't know really what I was going to do for a job yet. You can't just, walk around and go grab a job these days. And things transpired where I get a call. I'm on the night before taking a position with another ministry, kind of being a COO for them. And I get a phone call from 121, and some things transpired where there was an opportunity on the table for me to rejoin them in a new kind of different role, in a way that we were like, you can't be serious. There's no way this is happening. And we just prayed about it, and the Lord led us back to that. So we're back on staff actually at 121 and Grapevine today. Um, and it's been going great. Been back here for I think a year and a half. So
Yeah, we're glad to have you. Selfishly, we were very excited to know that the Mobleys would be coming back to the DFW area, knowing exactly what you bring to the table. Not just you, but your whole family, sweet as
yeah,
they come. But that you in that role at 121, just how you help make us a lot stronger as a body with all the different things you're able to not just do, but the way that you think. And so we're grateful for that. And So why not quite there? What leads you to want to do a podcast like this? I know we
Yep.
touched on it a little bit in our teaser episode, but taking all that you've just shared tonight,
Hmm.
how would you summarize that toward this mission now?
I like how you said tonight. This is the late night edition of
This
Not
is the
Quite
late
There
night
as
edition.
far as
Yeah.
when we're recording this. If oh man, the behind the scenes of a podcast too would be fun to talk about someday. Well, I and thank you for what you said. I appreciate that. That's just encouraging on us being back, and it doesn't come without the tons of trials and errors. The man of many hats role. I've learned the hard way over the years. When you go too far, when you burn out, when you take on too much, when you deal with mental struggles. I had a big take with anxiety before moving to Austin, and I might save that for to talk in the future. But I've had to learn a lot on how our bodies and our minds are we're just broken because of sin. I mean, and it really does help explain the kind of world we live in and why there's a lot of issues if we read what the word has to say about that. Um, and so I've had to learn how to have empathy. Not only when getting married, you got to learn how to emotionally invest in someone, and tears are fine. And um, saying I'm sorry over and over again is a good thing and a healthy thing. Like
Yes. Very good.
some guys are like, I already said it once. Like, why do I have to say it again? It's like you're missing the point, fella. So, um, but learning about anxiety, mental struggles, how everyone's at a different place. I've just grown in my empathy, and that happened in Austin too, just to really try to connect with someone with where they are on that day. God only calls us to kind of go one step at a time. He says um, he'll establish our steps as we go. Meaning sometimes we sit on the couch and we pray, God, will you show me what to do next? And we don't do anything. And I feel like very often the Lord's like, get moving and I'll establish your steps. Like you got to take steps for them to be established, kind of a thing. So we come here and feel like the Lord's impressed some things on our family to do. And a podcast. Christy, you and I have talked about it, and you've had quite the vision for it as well. I just think it's a good fit for we're on the go. People are like going from left to right and listening a lot more these days to books, and I think podcasts like this. And it just seems like a great ministry opportunity. We talked about where we are in our age and just ministry experience, and just to be able to share. I mean, man, if we get to share a sliver of something that we've learned, frankly, just, it's like we're having a cup of coffee, and that can help minister to anyone, and help them progress. I mean, why wouldn't I want to be a part of that?
Yeah.
We get to tap into a little bit of tech. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I like tech stuff. I like web stuff. I do websites. I like the hardware, the software, all the little, nerdy things that other guys would fall asleep about. So I get to tap into that realm doing something like this too. But
Would you say that you still love technology?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a I'm a tech, definitely a tech geek. Now I am getting a little bit older, so I can't keep up with all the youths of America these days with all of their TikToks and their things like that. But I still like it. So it's a passion.
Well, I'm glad that you're handling a lot of the tech here. That's definitely helpful,
Yeah.
but it's
Yep.
also definitely in your skill set. So, thank you. I know that
Yeah.
the hot seats pretty hot sometimes, and I can feel mine warming up here because I feel we're going to dive
Oh.
into mine uh, coming up here in a soon to be episode.
Oh, that's what you
Uh,
meant by filling the seat, getting warmer. Okay. Just want to make sure.
yes.
I don't know if you I don't know
Let's.
if you did anything over there. You
No
broke
comment.
wind. You didn't break wind.
Oh, we're going there.
Oh,
Okay.
well, you said it. You said
But,
I'm feeling the seat warming up right now. I didn't know what you meant by that.
never mind. Never mind.
I got you right there.
But yes, as this seat warps out.
Thanks so much for joining us. Please consider rating and reviewing our podcast and hitting subscribe on whichever platform you prefer. Remember to keep moving forward because we're not quite there.